What's your overall thought at sitting at 2-2 on a season that I think that there was a lot of high expectations?
There's still high expectations. I really do think this is a really good football team that we have. I still think we can win a lot of football games. I still think this is a playoff team as well. We played a really tough schedule so far. And you look at our schedule right now with playing Angelo and then playing Pueblo, and now you're playing Pitt and playing Kearney. The only one of those teams that wasn't ranked was Kearney, and they're a good football team. We just beat Emporia last week. So I'm happy with where they're at. I mean, I still rather be 4-0 right now, but I still think we're a good football team. I think we still got some things to work on, but I still think we're a playoff team, and I still think we still have an opportunity to win the conference. And but our backs are kind of against the wall now, so we have to win out to have a chance to at least tie for the conference. But I think these guys can get it done.
What's it going to take? And you see this at all levels, but what will it take to finish drives with touchdowns versus field goals? And obviously, if you had the answer, you'd probably be selling the secret, but what's it going to take?
I mean, it's guys just doing their job. I mean, the very first one, we had a nice little screen set up. Receiver just kind of cut it short. If he just runs the route properly, catches the ball, it's a walk-in touchdown. Penalties, of course, have hurt us a lot in the red zone as well. The interception, of course, hurt, this last week too. So it's just make sure guys are doing their part and doing their job. And I think we're starting to panic just a little bit when we get there because we're so we've just been kicking field goals, so now we're stressing so much to get into the end zone instead of just doing our job, doing our assignment, and playing the game how we need to play it.
Did you feel the offense, despite maybe having to settle for those field goals, took a step in a positive direction, just the way you seem to move the ball?
Yeah, I mean, we moved the ball really well. It was just when we got into the red zone, we had to kick field goals, but I saw some really good things, from our quarterback, from our offensive line. I thought our offensive line had a really good game. I mean, there's times we had protection for, I was counting it up yesterday, 6, 7, 8 seconds, and we just didn't get open as a receiving corps. So, I mean, I really saw some good things happen in the game. I saw, Clark did some good things in the run game. Donovan Hunt did some great things in the run game as well. Ryan Allen, right? He's always a solid football player. I really thought our O-line did a great job of protecting and giving gaps and making some adjustments as well with what Pitt was doing to us. But there is still room for improvement, right? I still just think we need to run our routes a little bit faster than what we're running them right now because everything, in the pass game is always about timing, and if we're running half-speed routes and not full-speed routes, that's going to tend to hurt you. It's going to tend to hurt your quarterback as well because he's so used to that timing. But they did a good job. I mean, I just wish, when we get into the red zone, we didn't turn the ball over and we score touchdowns instead of kicking field goals.
I was going to ask about the receivers. It seems like they have struggled at times to get open. How frustrated are you with that? And do you have to tweak anything, route, or what you're doing just to try to help with that at all?
I think it's just having good conversations with them and expectations and, what we're seeing compared to what they're seeing, and just having those upfront, open conversations. Because in practice, I mean, they get open, right? They run the routes hard. It's just when that other colored jersey comes against them, and it seems to, we tend to kind of pull back just a little bit, play a little bit softer, and not attacking and being aggressive. So, that's something we got to work on this week in practice is to make sure that they are, running their routes at full speed, making the moves they move at practice because we don't see those same moves, in game times, but. It might be just a lack of confidence. They need to get that confidence that they can step on the field and beat anybody. And then once they do that, I mean, I think this group's really going to flourish.
May not seem like because of the number of points on the board, but the defense seemed to have a pretty solid day. You take away 3 or 4 big plays, it's a fantastic day for the defense.
It is. I mean, there's 2 big plays, in my mind is, one of the passes, probably 30, 40-yard gain, and then, Jackson gets beat on the little stutter go and for a big touchdown pass. And other than that, there's really not too many other big plays that happen. Maybe a couple of 10, 15-yarders and, maybe a penalty here or there that we gave them, extra yardage as well. But I thought overall defensively we were pretty solid. Just a few little things. When they got in the big package, we had a game plan set. We just got to, work on that thing just a little bit more of getting linebackers to scrape and safeties to scrape to make because they know it's going to bounce and make that tackle at the goal line. But, I thought they played well. I thought they played hard. I thought they played physical. There's still some better angles that we can take, defensively as linebackers and safeties to make sure we make sure tackles. and just being in the right spot sometimes. And sometimes it's just getting hands on receivers, just to kind of collision, mess up the timing just a little bit. I think we need to get a little bit better at that as well. But overall, I thought we played well defensively. Just the score maybe does not show that. But, they were put in some tough situations, but they'll agree with me. I mean, it doesn't matter what the situation is. We got to keep those guys out of the end zone.
What have you liked best about the back end, the safeties, the corners, all those young guys, the new guys, how they've progressed up to this point and what they're doing well now?
Just improvement week in and week out, right? Just to see their growth, in a 4 weeks' time. I mean, practice is practice, fall camp is fall camp, but it's not really, you don't really see that growth until you get into game situations. And just to see them getting used to the speed of the game now, the communication, amongst them, being in the right spots, rallying to receivers, making gang tackling as well, and just seeing them do the things that they were supposed to do, from game one. But you're starting to really see them get comfortable, start to play with some confidence, starting to fly around a little bit more, getting interceptions now, causing some fumbles, those type of things that we always ask them to do. But I think it's just the comfortability that they're playing with now. I mean, they're getting more comfortable and they're playing more confident, and that's what you like to see. About this time we haven't hit peak yet, and that's a good thing. But I think here next few weeks you'll really see what some of these guys can really do for us.
Speaking of that kind of leads to my next question. How much room overall as a team is there left for improvement? We're getting ready for the 5th game of the season.
I think there's a bunch right now. I mean, it's not big improvements, but it's just fixing the little things that we aren't doing right now. Whether it's a defensive lineman not staying in the B gap and falling into A, and now the linebackers filling A gap. So now we got 2 guys in A gap, and the back's able to spurt. Understanding situational stuff. Last week with it was 3rd and 2, and we gave up the 3rd and 15, right? And we're playing cover 3. I mean, loosen up, bandit. I mean, your job is playing the flats, and you cheated up on the 2-yard route when they threw it right behind you. It's just fixing those little things. But when you fix those little things, your defense gets a lot better as well, or your offense as well. But I think it's just the situational part of the game that we need to get better at, and understanding what the situation is, understanding our job in that situation. And once we figure those things out, I really think this team will improve tremendously.
How do you coach that into kids, or is that just something that they have to learn on their own?
It's just talking about it, watching film with them, constantly, putting it in their minds. At practice, having sticks out, so they have to look to the sideline to see, what the down and distance is as well. So, those sticks are at practice. You got to kind of remind them, hey, look at the down and distance, because the game of football, it's really all situational stuff. If you understand the situation, you usually have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen offensively and defensively. So, just keep hounding on them, talking to them about it. In your meetings, going through the situations with them as well, and then making sure in practice they know exactly what the situation is and preparing for what might happen. And always thinking ahead, right? And especially on a defense, that's what I'm always telling my secondary. You're going to get a formation. And 90% of the time, in this day and age, that formation is going to change. All right, so we might be playing this coverage now, but what's going to happen if somebody does move? What are we going to get? What are we going to get into? Or if we're running a blitz, are we going to have a switch call? Are we not going to have a switch call? Who's coming? Who's not coming? But always thinking ahead, before the play even starts, so you're prepared for that. And I think offensively we can do the same thing, right? Defenses usually change, once we motion or do certain things. So what are they doing when we change, and move and shift receivers around, and being prepared for those things? Because if you prepare like that, usually good things happen for you on Saturday.
You mentioned backs against the wall. Is that in some way, maybe not that your team hasn't been focused, but kind of really lock them in now to prepare for each of these games?
I hope so. I mean, we really have had some good practices, and our guys have really been pretty locked in. It might just be that little extra lock-in that we need now, and I think guys will be a little bit more focused in this week at practice. But it is. I mean, I'm a guy that kind of likes to be, my back's against the wall, and we got to go make things happen. But that's the competitor in me, and I think that's the competitiveness in this team right now. Is we know where we're at, and we know what we have to get done, and so they're going to come to practice and prepare and get ready for every game, like it's their last game, and because we need to win out to have a chance to be in the playoffs, and we need to win out to have a chance to win the conference. And I just know these kids, they want that so bad. So you're going to see these guys really get after these next 7 weeks.
challenging games, a tough schedule as well. That's your thoughts on the Griffins, what you see?
They have, they played a really good Augustana team. Came down to the wire, in that game. We're talking to the end of the wire. They had the lead and gave up a big play, and, Augustana scored off of it. They played, Central Missouri really, really close, and that one kind of came down to the wire as well. And they're a good football team. They really do have a good defense that is very athletic. They're big up front. They play a lot of man coverage. And they do play a little bit of zone, but those guys fly around, and then they get to the ball, very, very well. So their defense will give us some fits. They're going to bring 6 guys and man up and take some chances and take some risks. They're going to show pressure and bail out and play some zone. And our guys just got to have to be prepared for those things, because a lot of it offensively is everything's kind of on the fly. Right, they zone or and they man, and you got to figure that out pretty quick and get to your read and get to your route, as soon as you possibly can. But again, we got to establish the run game against them, and if we shore up our blocking and understand who's coming and work on our double teams, getting to the next level, we should be fine. And then, offensively, they give you a bunch of different sets. The running back's back. It's like I feel like he's been there for 10 years. But Hall's a very good running back. He's tough and he's physical and he's got good speed and he can break one at any time. But they got a couple backups that play just like he does. The receiving core's very solid. They have good speed. They run good routes. They're good blockers as well downfield, for the running backs. And their offensive line, they're scrappy. They're very, very scrappy. They get after it. They do a good job of, getting double teams. They can do a good job of pulling and getting on safeties and things like that. And, the quarterback's, he's a 2-year starter now. He's starting to fill his role and know exactly what he can do. And, they just go make plays. So, our work's going to be cut out for us. We have to come in and be prepared. And we need to have a great week of practice and have great preparation in the film room. And getting in our scouting reports and making sure we know exactly what they're going to do in certain situations. But they're a good football team, a very good football team. They might be 1-2, but it's a darn good 1-2 football team.
Paul's coming off injury. What makes him so good for so long, and then how do you go about trying to contain him? Because he seems like he's could break a game open at any point.
He just has tremendous vision. He really sees the field really, really well. He really knows how to set up blocks, and help his old lineman out to set those blocks up. And then he knows where it's going to be, right? He knows exactly where he's going to cut it as he's making his reads. And he runs physical. That's the thing. He's a physical runner. He's going to try to run through you. He's not one of those guys that's really going to try to juke you. He's just going to try to run through you and break the tackle, and just his speed as well. I think that's what makes him so dangerous is his speed, his physicality, and his vision. He has all those things, and he can also catch the ball out of the backfield. And so he's the type of running back that probably every team in this conference wants to have. So, we're going to find a way to slow him down and corral him, and he's going to make one guy miss. So we got to make sure that we gang tackle and we pursue the ball and get there and not give him room to run. So our D-line's going to have their work cut out for him as well. But it also goes with the pass game too. We got our work cut out for us. But our linebackers are going to flow very well and make sure they're sure tacklers this week.
There is a team that's been a thorn in your side in this conference. This is it.
This is
It
it.
doesn't matter who the coach is or what the personnel is. For whatever reason, it's the other black and gold team. Can you put your thumb on it at all?
It's usually we give up big plays, right, against them, and we turn the ball over. It's those two things every single year. Every time we get to the red zone, we turn the ball over, right? Block a punt, kick a punt to somebody's stomach, and they score, whatever it might be. There's always some fluke thing that always happens, and it's always like 5 plays in that game that beat us. And so we got to eliminate those 5 plays this week, whether it's turn the ball over in the red zone, giving up the big play, or letting them have a big play on special teams. But that goes for any football game. But for some reason, it's always this game that all those things just kind of all happen to us at once. We give up the big play, we turn the ball over, and something on special teams usually happens. So we as coaches really got to get our kids coached up this week, make sure we're solid in all areas, and making sure we're doing our job, doing our assignment, playing physical, being aggressive, all right, and do not give up the big play defensively, and do not turn the ball over. If we can do those 2 things, I think we've got a great chance to win this game.
It's probably the question that the offense is asking themselves as well. How do you get into the end zone? You guys are getting close.
Yeah.
It's just not across the goal line.
Yeah, we definitely need to start converting those field goals into touchdowns, but I think it just comes down to really honing in on the little details and knowing the situation once we kind of get in that red zone area, knowing that defenses aren't going to play just their normal base alignments and stuff because everything's tightened down, condensed in that area, especially for the O-line, just knowing there's going to be some stunts up front, movement, blitzes, just kind of everything's going to try to get sped up in there. And so just really making sure we know the details and kind of just knowing the situation, like, hey, there's going to be something coming, be ready for it so we don't get caught off guard.
Has everybody kind of stayed in the same boat, so to speak, or is there starting to be some frustration just because of the lack of touchdowns?
No, I think we're still all in it together, no one's jumped ship or anything like that. We all understand that, it's just we're so close there, just minor details that we need to fix, little one-man breakdowns that'll turn those field goals into touchdowns.
Talk about the offensive line in general. I mean, you've got 2 or 3 starters back, some new guys working their way in. How do you feel you've grown since camp, since the first game, and where you're at right now?
Yeah, I think we're taking a step forward each game. With the new guys who haven't had a bunch of game experience, every week they're coming along, getting better and better. Just kind of understanding the speed of the game and just kind of the flow and how things work. I feel like we've been gelling better and better each week. Communication has been good. And there's, for the most part, we're all pretty old guys. So we've been around each other a lot. We all got good bonds and stuff like that. So I think we hopefully continue to get better and better each week.
We're talking about 2-2 right now. Obviously, you guys have lofty goals. The margin for error is thin. Just how do you approach it from here on out, knowing that you have to take care of business if you want to continue?
No, yeah, coming into the season, we set our goals high to, come in and be conference champs. And, now that we've got the 2 losses, we just got to approach each week with a heightened sense of, kind of just got to make sure we're really looking forward to what we got. And I guess it's just knowing that each week matters, each play matters, each drive matters, that, not really backs against the walls, but, if we want to go where we say we want to, it's just we just got to be determined each week to get it done.
Talk about Missouri Western, some pretty bizarre games over the years with the Ravens.
Yeah, it's always a tough battle against them. They always seem to bring their A game against us and stuff like that. But they're a good team. Yeah, I wish we could say we would come out on the winning end on some of those, but that hasn't been the case. So, we always know that they're going to bring a fight, and we always got to play our best against them.
They traditionally still have a pretty good front on the defensive line. How does this one stack up, you think?
They're solid. They're very good. They return a few guys from last year, and the scheme they have, they play fast. They send a lot of blitzes, stunts, moving. Try to confuse the O-line, stuff like that. But they're very talented up front, and I think the O-line, especially this week, is gonna have to be on the same page communication-wise and not let them get sped up with all the stuff they do.
Talk about homecoming week. Does it mean anything for the team? Does it mean anything for the players?
A little bit, yeah. We know that the crowd's gonna be bigger, the environment's gonna be better. There's a lot of people coming back, and so it's obviously a game that we want to win and perform our best because there's a lot of people who've come back into Hayes and want to show up to the game and support us. So we know it's gonna be a bigger crowd. Other than that, it's just another week. We approach it same. We got a team this week. These are the keys we have to do to be successful and win. But other than just knowing that there might be a bigger crowd and there's some other extracurricular activities that could be happening, we're locked in on what we have to do.
Talk about your journey and your time here at Fort Hays State. Where have you grown as a player, maybe on the field, but then also within the locker room?
Yeah, coming in freshman year of 2022 was a rough year. We had a lot of injuries. Some young guys got thrown in the fire. I was one of them. But, I think since then, that experience really helped us. We've changed the culture since then. Just kind of being a part of what that 3-8 team really showed. We saw the bad things of what not to do. That now, that we've played time, and especially me, I've got a bunch of game time. I've been here. I'm an old guy now. I know what the right things are to do, and so just becoming more of a vocal leader. Always leading by example. For these young guys and for the new guys, but. It's just I think I've grown more vocally and always just lead by example.
Is that always a positive vocal thing, or do you have to get on some guys every once in a while?
You know, there's some tough love if the guy needs it, but you know, I try to remain positive. You know, try to bring everyone along with you, type of thing.
It seems like when players transfer in, regardless if it's JUCO Division I from another Division II, it takes a few games or sometimes a season for guys to catch on. Game number one, you're out there smacking people in the mouth, seem to have a pretty good feeling of what's going on. Was it like that, or is that just our view while watching the game?
I would say it might just be your view from watching the game. I'm obviously still learning this defensive playbook and how the MIAA is and all that stuff. And from game one to the game we had this last weekend, I mean, there's been up and downs that I'm still trying to figure out and everything like that. And I'm still trying to do my best. And like I said, I'm still trying to learn the playbook and all that stuff and fly around. But I also need a lot to improve on, like the little things like details and my maturity a little bit, wrapping up, being able to tackle, make those plays, and that's just stuff I'm working on right now.
Not to make excuses for anybody, but you hadn't played a football game in a full football game in 3+ years. Does that have an effect on it? Just the fact that you haven't played a full football game?
I would think so. Not being able to play those 3 years, kind of, it's like, man, like I missed out on so much time. Like, do I remember how to play football again? Like all that stuff. And just getting back into that and being able to play full games and stuff like that, it kind of like, I don't know how to put it, but like it kind of reminds me of like high school, where I did get to play those full games and what that feeling was like, and now getting to come do that here and have that full experience. It's definitely like a shock to me just because I was out for those 3 years, but getting back into the play and everything, it's coming along. So.
A guy like John Johnson, you know, as your linebacker, man, how much has he helped kind of bring you up to speed with the system?
He's been a lot of help with his 6 years of experience in this program. He knows so much. He's been such a help to me and the other linebackers and everyone else on the defense. And he's been such a leader this year. I don't know how he was the past few years, but this year he's been really helpful, and he's helping me come along with this team and this defense. So.
Your perspective as a newcomer with the defense, I mean, how do you feel you guys have grown from the start of the year to where you are now going into week 5?
So I think in the summer, it was really nice having everyone there and getting those quality reps against each other, against the offense and everything, and just the growth from there has been tremendous. I mean, we know like our assignment a lot better and everything, and just from game one, like we are playing at a higher level, I think so. But like I said, there's still just a few things that we need to clean up on in all positions, and just like I said, just like the maturity, it has to be there going forward. So.
Does anything surprise you about the MIAA? I know you grew up here, you went into a lot of games, but now that you're out there on the field, is anything surprising to you?
I mean, they're physical, they're scrappy. It's a tough conference, and anyone can win. So you just gotta be ready, have your head on a swivel, prepare every day at practice like it's your last practice. It's got to be your best practice, and just the MIAA, like I said, is tough. So you just got to be prepared.
Coach mentioned earlier, talking about Hall, the running back, when you've watched a little film, what do you see out of him as a player that will be going on the field against him?
Yeah, so obviously I didn't get to play against him last year, but watching the film, he's a tough runner, hard-nosed runner. He will run through you if he can, and he'll make you slip off tackles. He's very physical. He's got speed to get around you, and we, like I said, just got to have our fundamentals. We got to wrap up this week and finish our tackles. So.